driving around our neighborhood looking for houses that I could buy. This was a few years ago and pulled up to a house, had a ton of leaves on the roof. House looked abandoned. And, my normal play is go to the front door, knock, and then leave a business card saying, "Hi neighbor, I came by your house to see if you're interested in selling. If there's anything I can do for you, please give me a call." Well, I start by taking a picture of the house so that I can send it to the homeowner if I happen to find them, figuring they're out of state. And lo and behold, an elderly man opens the front door and just stares at me while I'm taking a picture of his house. So I put my phone down and I say, "Hi, my name's Kenny, and I just was driving around the neighborhood to see if you would ever consider selling your house," thinking that this guy's about to pull out a gun and shoot me. And I was a little nervous. He did not look very happy. And his response was, "Well, I can't sell anything to you because my wife won't get her stuff out of the garage." Not what I was expecting. So I gave him my card and we started talking. And lo and behold, I'm buying this house about a year later. That's one way to buy a house. Another way I bought a house was my secret. Actually, one of my secrets to buying houses is my wife. She has given me more leads from her walking around the neighborhood, pushing a baby stroller than the average person. One of the neighbors up the street was taking care of his parents who were in their 90s, and my wife stopped and talked with him, and even and I was able to sit and say hello to him and give him my business card. About a year later, he calls me and says, "I've been looking for your card. I thought I had lost it, but as we were cleaning out the glove compartment, we found it. And I'm so glad because I would like you to give us an offer on our house." So I ended up buying that house, and that was about 2 years ago. And even now, I'm in the middle of buying a house that my wife had stopped and talked with a guy. Old men, those are her sweet spot. And I don't know, my wife is very sweet and kind to all folks, but elderly men, for whatever reason, seem to fall in love with her very quickly. So this is a house that is just a few houses up, and we're going to be closed on this house next month because I got a number, set up a meeting, sat and walked through the home with them. And what's funny is it never feels like people are going to sell you their house after talking with them. There's always somebody else, or they're going to use a realtor, or you're not their first option. But it's interesting how sometimes people come around later from wanting an easy button. So if you're someone that has been looking to try to find a house, talk to your neighbors, talk to realtors that you know. Looking on Zillow is, I would say, very challenging to find a deal. But by getting the realtor associated with that house, you could always add to them, "Hey, I'm a house buyer, real estate investor. If you come across any other deals that are in this area or in this price point, or just need some TLC, some love, I'd love to be on your list of people to call." Hope that helps. Let me tell you the story of how I worked with my first private money lender. So I found a deal that was buying 2 houses for $90,000. They were side by side. They were very small houses and needed, I would say, a full gut job. Well, I put a bid in for these houses and surprisingly got it. I was $20,000 under asking price, and lo and behold, I got a call saying, "Hey, you got them." So I was immediately scared that I had made a bad move, because if I was the highest bidder and I went $20K under, what was wrong with these houses? So I worked with a local REIA, Real Estate Investor Association meetup group, and was given a name of a hard money lender. Hard money lender is someone that basically you can buy money from. They lend you money, require usually a higher interest rate, and even a origination fee, or what they call points, where they would say, "Hey, if I lend you $200,000, I want 5 points when you pay me back. 5 percentage points of the total loan amount." So that'd be $10,000. And usually their interest rates are anywhere between 10 to 14, 15% on this money. But if you have a good deal and don't have that money, it could be a great way to get into the deal. Well, I had used him for the purchase price of these homes, and even used him for some of the draws in renovating the homes. But what I didn't realize was I was supposed to put up my own money on the front end and then get reimbursed by him as things got done. And because I was working with a crew that was very slow, this process was very painful for me. So I ended up running out of money on my first flip and went to a friend's dad who knew what I was doing. And I said to him, "I'm trying to finish a flip. I need $30,000. Would you be willing to lend that to me and I'll give you a 12% interest only payment paid out monthly until you get your money back. He accepted. I was very excited. What's funny is about 2 months later, I went to him and I said, I know I just borrowed $30,000, but I have another house that I'm doing the same thing to, and I can actually do this faster if you lend me $100,000. Now, I haven't paid you back the 30 yet, but I'm planning on doing that by doing this thing. And then I'm going to pay you back the 100 by doing this thing. And this one was not as quick of a written check to be handed to me, but I did get a payment by doing this. And when that happened, a huge light bulb moment happened for me on understanding this could be something I could do over and over. And as long as I have deals and I'm managing these crews correctly, and I know I can sell these things higher than what I buy them for after they're fixed up, I don't have to do my job anymore that I was doing as a salesman, customer service rep. So those are my aha moments of working with private money lenders and funding my first few deals. What's the biggest deal that I've ever done? The biggest deal that I have done was buying a house about 3 hours away. The purchase price was around the 220 range. And I bought this with a partner who we went in 50-50, and we renovated about $100,000 of work to it. And we sold this for $650. This was a 6-month process, and it was the most money I've made in that short of time doing very minimal amount of work. I did visit this property once a week. So there was a 6-hour commute on Fridays was when I went. And I was usually at the property for about 30 minutes or less, just checking on progress. But that was the best deal I've ever done, and have not done one like that. But that gave me a huge springboard into reinvesting into education about real estate and syndication, specifically capital raising. And it was really fun. Have I ever lost money on a flip? Have I ever lost money on real estate? Technically, no. I have yet to lose money on real estate. The ejection button for a lot of real estate investors is, hey, you know what? I've had this property as a rental or Airbnb. I'm not making any money from it, so I'm going to go ahead and sell it. So there's typically always equity in the house, which is money that is yours, but not liquidated or realized until you sell the house. Problem is, once you sell the house, you're paying probably a realtor fee, closing costs, and there's probably taxes that are going to be put on you. If you've owned the property for less than 2 years, capital gains tax, which sometimes can be, 15 to 30% depending on your tax bracket. And that's not cool. So no, never have lost money in a deal, but have made as little as 3% return as profit margins. Why should you invest in real estate? Well, to me, those are some clear answers here. One is tax benefits. By investing into real estate, you get to claim depreciation and other things that can help lower your tax income status and lower your tax return bill. 2 is diversification. Where's your money right now? How hard is it working? Is real estate in that equation? If it's not, that's one way to mitigate risks if other things go down in value. And then 3 is you're tying your money to a real tangible asset. You can visit this building. You can see what the updates are. You can look at what you're making in rent, what the costs are. And to me, it's a very digestible, simple way to understand how your money is working for you. When I look at buying an apartment complex that has 130 units, it's quick to say, oh, this is so complicated. What's going on? But once you can understand, okay, we're buying it this much, there's all these costs associated with the property, maintenance, utilities, upkeep, etc. And then here's the income, the rents multiplied by 130. And after doing that, you can see what the difference is and what percentage of ownership you have in it to see what money you're going to make each month and each distribution. So for me, investing into real estate is about tax benefits, diversification, and understanding that this is how the money works, and it's very easily digestible. Along with the knowledge of it, cash flow. Cash flow is another thing that you get to enjoy into real estate investing. You're not waiting for the end of the project to get money. There's things that you can get along the way through these rents. And then the property also will appreciate. So as time goes on, the value of the property is going up without you doing anything to it, just by holding on to it. As time goes on, depending on the market you're in, the value of the property does go up. And what's really cool is when you buy a big property that is a commercial property, such as apartment complex, you can actually force the appreciation by lowering your costs of business and increasing rents. There is a way to increase the valuation of that property just by making it a bit better business model to increase that net gain. If any of this stuff interests you in regards to learning more about real estate, schedule a call with me and let's talk about how you can be a part of the next real estate opportunity that I have.